All right, let's run a diagnostic on the human operating system. Most of us go through life running code we never even wrote, and certainly don't understand. Based on Charles Duhigg's work, this explainer is about finding that code, the architecture of our habits, so we can finally start writing our own. So think of your habits as automated scripts. They're basically background processes that run your life without any conscious input. They're there to free up your brain's processing power for other things. The problem, of course, is when these scripts become bugs instead of features. And that's the core premise right there. Nearly half of what you do every single day is on autopilot. The other half is you making conscious decisions and, let's be honest, looking for your keys. Understanding this autopilot code, that's the first real step to taking control of the entire system. To re-engineer any system, you first have to deconstruct it. Every single habit, from biting your nails to your morning workout, it all follows the same fundamental three-part structure. This is its source code. First up, you have the cue. This is the system's call to action. It's the specific trigger that tells your brain to load and run a particular habit file. It could be a time of day, a place you're in, or even an emotional state. That cue then kicks off the routine. This is the script itself executing, the actual behavior you perform. It's the action of smoking the cigarette, endlessly checking your email, or reaching for that afternoon cookie. And finally, the reward. This is the feedback that tells your brain if the script was successful. A positive reward tells the brain, yep, that worked, save this loop. It's the brain's own save button, except it never asks if you're sure you want to overwrite. So, here's the crucial part. These three things work together in a self-reinforcing cycle. The cue triggers the routine delivers the reward, and the reward reinforces the connection back to the cue. It just makes the script more automatic the next time around. Now, some scripts are more powerful than others. A keystone habit is what you'd call a high-leverage routine. When you change this one thing, it can trigger a widespread system upgrade. And this perfectly illustrates the principle. Keystone habits don't just change one behavior. They create this cascade effect, a chain reaction for good habits. They can overhaul the entire system just by targeting one critical process. Let's look at a case study. When Paul O'Neill took over the struggling aluminum company Alcoa, he ignored profits and focused entirely on one thing: worker safety. Investors were expecting to hear about synergy and right-sizing. They got a lecture on hard hats instead. But that one keystone habit forced the entire company to rebuild its communication and operations from the ground up, and that ultimately led to record performance. So, how do you rewrite a faulty script? Well, you don't delete it, you patch it. This brings us to what's known as the golden rule of habit change. Now, the real elegance of this whole framework is its simplicity. You don't fight the cue and you don't deny the reward. You simply swap out the routine. That's the bit of code that runs in between. Support groups like Alcoholics Anonymous are a perfect real-world example. The cue, a feeling of stress or anxiety, that stays the same. And the reward, a sense of relief and companionship, that also stays the same. The only thing that changes is the routine. Drinking is replaced with fellowship. It satisfies the exact same craving, just with a much more constructive script. But look, willpower isn't a reliable fail-safe. Under stress, the system crashes, and it just reverts to default programming. The solution is to create a pre-planned habit for those very moments of failure, an automated protocol for inflection points. Starbucks developed a method called Latte for its employees. It's a pre-written script to run when they're faced with a difficult customer. It's a clever little acronym, and it's definitely more constructive than the usual alternative, which tends to be shouting. This is how you institutionalize willpower. By creating a simple, rehearsed routine for a high-stress cue, Starbucks turns self-control into just another habit, one that runs automatically when it's needed most. Okay, let's move from theory to execution. Your first task isn't to change a habit. It's simply to analyze one. From this point on, you are the system architect. And remember this, the routine is obvious. The reward can be figured out. But the cue is the invisible trigger. Finding it is the single most critical step in debugging your own programming. So, the next time you feel the urge for a habit you want to change, I want you to immediately log these 5 data points. Think of it like being a detective in your own life. Your afternoon cookie is the suspect, and the motive is usually just boredom. After you do this just a few times, the pattern, the real cue, will start to emerge from all the noise.
Now, this isn't just some intellectual exercise. It's a diagnostic tool you can run immediately. So pick one habit. The next time that urge hits, run the analysis. The question isn't whether you understand your habits, but what you're actually going to do with that knowledge.